What up, fam? Welcome back to 88-Bit Tech. I'm AJ, and today I've got a dope macro mouse for you for $25 delivered. Direct competitor to the Razer Naga V2 and Corsair Scimitar MMO mice, but significantly more affordable. Depending on which of those you get, this mouse can be 50% or 75% cheaper. Today, we are looking at the E-YOOSO X33 MMO gaming mouse from AliExpress. While I don't have the Razer Naga V2 or the Trinity mouse to compare, I do have the Corsair Scimitar RGB Elite wired MMO mouse. In my opinion, the build quality for both of them feel quite premium and are comparable to each other. They weigh about the same, with the X33 coming in a tad heavier at 125.96 grams versus the Scimitar at 118.4 grams, 0.42 grams. I mean, it's going to fluctuate because of the wire that's attached here, but about 119 grams. So it is a little heavier, which I don't mind at all. Size-wise, they are about the same. I'd say I have medium to small-ish size hands, and I'm perfectly happy with the size of these two mice. So I'm mainly going to focus on the E-YOOSO X33 in this review, but I will go over which one does it better in certain respects towards the end. First off, let's go over the buttons and features of the X33. As far as RGB, we have the logo just there. You can see that. And we have the mouse wheel and the side buttons that are all linked. Unfortunately, each section is not individually programmable. It also has this red LED indicator for the level of DPI, which is controlled by these two buttons here. No light is 1000 DPI, and each additional light doubles the value all the way up to 16,000 DPI. So this one is 1000 DPI, and we've got 2000 DPI, 4,000, 8,000, 16,000 DPI. And we have the scroll wheel here, the left and right mouse buttons, as well as an additional programmable button to the left of the left mouse button. And the star of the show is the 12 programmable buttons on the side that are angled to help you better differentiate each row. I don't know if you can see that here. I'll try to do my best to, yeah. You can see a slight angle to each row. On the front side of the mouse, we have, oh, I forgot about these. So we do actually have LED here as well. Forgot these arrows, or RGB here as well. And then we have the USB-C to USB-A charging port. It does come with the provided cable. It's a braided cable that is quite nice, 2 meters in length. Very well built and constructed. So we've got the USB-C to USB-A there. On the back side, we do have the on-off switch, as well as on with RGB. Please note that in the off, if plugged in manually, the mouse will still work. Got the 4 pads here, and then it also has this slot for your 2.4 gigahertz USB. Unfortunately, you cannot store the USB in here when not in use because it extends quite a bit past the bottom level of the mouse, which is unfortunate. And then, oh yeah, the sensor. And lastly, we do have this profile switch, and I have no idea what it does. I tried to find documentation on it, but I came up with nothing. If you guys know what this does, please feel free to leave a comment below, because that would help out a lot of us, I think. Another thing to mention is the feel of the mouse itself. It's hard to convey this on the screen, but it's not actually a smooth surface. It sort of has a gradient to it, like a very smooth like it's been sanded, but a very fine sand, so there's some texture to the surface, which I actually really like. The sensor is also really good. A lot of mice that are around this price point, you lift the mouse from the mouse pad, even while it's still in the air, it'll still move around. This pretty much has very little. As soon as it comes off, it loses tracking. So, which is kind of what you want. You definitely want it to be, you don't want it to be moving while it's up in the air. So once it comes off, the mouse will stay generally in the same position it was at. But yeah, pretty good sensor on the bottom of this mouse. And here is the test of the sound of the mouse buttons here. Now, as far as the software, you have to go to this website here. It's www.eyspc.cn/en/ to get the English version of the website. Don't go to products. You're going to want to go straight to download and look for the E-YOOSO X33 driver. You can go ahead and download that. I already have, and I have it installed here. And in this software, you can control the lighting. And right now we have it set to about 20% on brightness. Well, it's originally on neon, and neon it goes to 100% brightness, and so does on respiration. You can control the speed, but only in steady can you control the actual brightness. So I'm going to go ahead and hit apply for steady. You'll see it takes a little bit, and then it'll eventually kick on here. Yep, there it is. And there we go. There's the light set to that violet color. Like I said, it's all linked. You can't program it individually, unfortunately. You do have a macro list here, so you can set this up to create different macros. Right now, I am playing Helldivers quite a bit, so you see that I have it have all 12 set to some type of stratagem. You can see you can hold down the left control, and it gives you the time to press that command, 22 milliseconds. I've set everything to 22. All the way through, just input the command and then hit enter, and it will work. So here, I'll give an example. So let's go ahead and create a new macro. I'll just call it test. Say you just hit start. Say we're inputting a new stratagem or something. Go start and just hold control, up, left, down, right, left, right, up, down, and stop record. Cycles time. You can leave that all as fine and just hit save. So now you can go in here. Let's say you want the, obviously you probably want it to run a lot faster. You can double click on the time and then change the time each time to 22 seconds, and it will run that macro. Yeah, so go ahead and change it to whatever time you want. And then how do you assign the macro? You just go to main, and you just click here, and then you can click on macro, and it'll give you the list of macros you created, and you can assign it to whatever key you want. I've already assigned stuff here. You can see I've got Gatling Barrage, Napalm, Eagle Airstrike, all that stuff is all there. And in here we have the USB polling rate that you can adjust as well. And then the battery indicator of here at 90% right now at the moment. So in here, aside from macro, you can set a key combination if you want to change it to a different key on the keyboard or something like that, or a 3-click. Has all these different functions that you can enable. This RGB on and off, it's not for an individual key. It turns off the RGB on the mouse. It basically turns off all the RGB or turns it all on. So it's still not individual. It's, like I said, all the RGB is linked. So that's that in the main. And then the advanced, you can adjust the DPI to exactly what you want each level to be. Mouse sensitivity, you can adjust that. Scrolling speed, double click speed, it's all on there as well. And then you can export your profile. So let's say you decide, let me go ahead and delete that test. Let's say, so I've got this Helldivers profile. You can export the profile, change the asterisk to a name, which I've already done. I have Helldivers 2 down here. So that way, when you're playing Helldivers 2, you can go ahead and enable this macro. But let's say you want to do something else and set it up for a different game, you can absolutely do that. And all you'd have to do is import the specific profile that you've saved, and you can load it up that way. So it's actually, I mean, it's quite a simple program, but it does have quite a lot of features. There are some things that are missing, but we'll go over that towards the end here. So not bad at all. Now, some people are a little bit nervous about downloading a program from a Chinese website, and I get it. I 100% understand. You can grab this from a .com website. People have found utechsmart.com also has a program for this exact same mouse. So just to let you know, utechsmart is basically, it's the exact same mouse. They're using the exact same mouse but charging quite a bit more for it on Amazon. So they're buying it for cheap and then slapping on their own logo onto it, but it's literally the exact same mouse as the E-YOOSO X33. And the program is also the exact same program, just reskinned. So, I mean, if you don't want to download it off of that Chinese website, you can go to utechsmart.com, products DS2833, or, well, actually, see if you go here, you can click on products mouse, and we'll take you to the wireless Ventus Pro gaming mouse, also known as the Yooso X33. Like I said, exact same mouse, exact same program. The program is the program is reskinned, but it's literally the exact same features. So as far as battery life goes, as you can see, the mouse does shut off quite frequently. It says that it lasts 8 minutes before it does the shut off, but the LEDs shut off like, I feel like they shut off like if the mouse isn't if the mouse isn't moving, it shuts off in 30 seconds, which is actually, I think, kind of good, because it just means that you're saving battery on the mouse. However, the battery is very, very, very lackluster. I had this mouse set to, let's pull it up here. In the lighting, I had it set to steady and the brightness set to 100%. I had it fully charged on a Friday morning. By Sunday night, and I pretty much used it the whole day on Friday. But then on Saturday and Sunday I worked, and so average use, you know, a couple sessions of Helldivers, some scrolling through some YouTube videos and things like that, and at the end of day 3 the battery had died. So wirelessly, 3 days of battery life is not good. However, I did have it at 100% brightness. I didn't test it at lower. Right now I currently have it set to 20%, and the battery has been at 90%. I recharged it Sunday night, which by the way took 4 hours. On the website, on AliExpress, they list that the full charge takes 2 hours. That's a lie. Maybe 2 hours not using it. I was actively using it, and it took 4 hours to fully charge from dead to 100%. Now it's listing it at 90%, and that I charged that, like I said, last night. Today is Monday night, so I charged it at Sunday night, and yeah, we're still at 90%, so that's a good sign. Fortunately, you can plug it in, and it works perfectly fine plugged in. And I imagine a lot of people, if you're going to be competitive gaming, you're probably going to want to plug it in anyway. But if you're playing a shooter or something like that, you're probably not using a mouse, an MMO mouse. I personally really, really enjoy the texture and feel of the mouse as opposed to the Corsair scimitar, which is smooth. I just have a greater sense of tactility when I'm using the X33 versus the scimitar. And like I said, that's just going to come down to personal preference. Another thing this is a huge positive. The macro system on the X33 works better than the Corsair scimitar. And just to put that into perspective, the Corsair scimitar on Amazon, the wired version, which is the one I have, that's brand new, it's on discount now, is still $60 before taxes and delivery. I got the X33 for $25 during a sale and some coupons that I used. So it's less than half the price of a wired Corsair Scimitar RGB Elite. And in my opinion, not even an opinion, it's just straight up facts, the macros on it work so much more consistently than the Corsair Scimitar. So, and a lot faster too. So a lot of the time, for some reason on the Corsair Scimitar, when you click on it, it'll start to run the macro, but it dies towards the end of it. It's like if you move the mouse or something like that, maybe it's like the input's getting interrupted. However, with this guy, the X33, the inputs seem almost instantaneous. I definitely prefer the X33 in terms of function of the macros on the side versus the scimitar. Now, the other thing to note, however, is the side buttons on the X33, these guys here, are not adjustable. They're set there and that's it. Versus this is a plus for the scimitar. The numpad on here can move depending on your hand position. You can set it to wherever you need to set it, which is something I really do like. That's a pretty neat feature on the scimitar. Another thing that the X33 doesn't do as good as the Corsair scimitar is the differentiation on its side buttons. So I don't know if you can tell in here in the image, the Corsair scimitar on the side buttons has texture to some of the rows on their keys, which helps more easily differentiate what you're pressing while you're gaming without having to look, versus on the E-YOOSO X33 you just have this angle. Yes, your finger sits kind of in there as well, but it would have been really nice to have some texture to differentiate what you're pressing on the mouse, because oftentimes I find myself looking down at the mouse to see if I'm pressing the right key. However, I have come up with a solution that I haven't implemented yet, but I'm going to. I got these, I don't know if you can see that. I got these shoe gel inserts for like $3 from the local chemist here in Sydney. And it's got this like kind of bumpy texture to them, like very small little bumps. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut like a little bit of this gel off and attach it to the keys, so that way, and these are translucent as well, so you'll still be able to see the numbers through it, to give it some texture, and hopefully that makes it a little bit better to use. If that's one critique I could give is to E-YOOSO is adding textures to those keys so that way it's just, you can feel it better. The angle is cool too. Keep the angle, but add texture to make it even more of a enjoyable experience to use while gaming. It is on sale right now, and if you've got some coupons, you can go ahead and use that. Like I said, I got it for cheaper than the $25 delivered here, because it is free shipping, and right now to Chicago you can get it in guaranteed 10 days, which is really good considering where it's coming from. And as far as price wise, even now, so you're going to pay $28 for that, like probably $30 with taxes or whatever. Compared to the cheapest Corsair scimitar you can get, the wired version is $60. If you wanted to go wireless to actually be comparable, it's $100. So $100 versus $30 for the X33, and that's the Corsair scimitar. And then the Razer Naga, I wouldn't go V2. I'd actually spend a bit more money and just go for the Naga Pro, because then you get the 3 different inserts that you can swap out to depending on what you're using the mouse for. And this, because it's only like $9 more, you're still paying $109 before tax, $99 before tax, $99 before tax, versus the E-YOOSO X33, $30. I will leave it up to you guys. However, I think it's a great value. One thing I should note as well with this mouse is, I'll play it in here. There seems to be some sort of issue with the mouse wheel on mine. It has a bit of a weird sound at some point during the spin. Hear that? No sound when scrolling down on them, but scrolling up. So you got no sound when scrolling down, but when scrolling up on the scroll here, there's like a weird, something's brushing against something in there at a certain point on the spin. But I don't notice it at all when I'm gaming or doing whatever I'm doing on the computer. To some people, this might be annoying, but for me, it's not a problem. So I wasn't going to file a claim or anything like that. Now, another thing is I noted that someone in the reviews left a comment that the smell of the mouse is really bad. And I can tell you I had no smell at all for this mouse. So I'm not sure what happened with theirs, but like there's no scent to it at all. So it's completely fine. Do note that anytime I get anything off of AliExpress, I do wipe it down with an alcohol pad to clean it, just because I don't know, who's handled it or whatever, and just want to make sure it's like in the best condition possible. So I do wipe it clean before using it. So I did put some alcohol to this to kill off any bacteria or anything like that. But still, even before that, it didn't have like a unique smell to it. The box did come a bit in shambles. Fortunately, the product was at least intact. Oh, and it also comes with some replacement pads. It also glides very well. In my opinion, it glides even smoother and better than the Corsair scimitar. So keep that in mind too. And as always, guys, I will include a link to this product in the description below if you want to pick it up for yourself. It is an affiliate link and it will help me out at no extra cost to you, so I really do appreciate it. If you like the video, please like the video as it really helps the channel out. And if you want to subscribe for more content, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Unfortunately, each section is not individually programmable. Okay.